Let's go ahead and kind of differentiate the two legs from one another by adding some few simple adjustments. Okay, let's go into legs composition. This is where all the magic happened. We're going to go on top of all the layers before starting the left leg layers. So go on this right foot and we're going to go to layer, new adjustment layer. So on this adjustment layer, we want to go to effects and presets and add a curves adjustment. Add that on the adjustment layer and simply just lower the lighting. So you can see this one's darker now. And it's only being applied to the back leg. Don't put too much. Just want enough that we can tell the difference. Now if we go in the real composition, you can see there's like a difference between the back leg and the front leg. And doesn't matter if this one comes forward because it's on the other side. So that was for the leg. Let's do the same thing for the arm. So let's go on, this one's the front arm. So on top of bicep right, make a new adjustment layer. Layer, new adjustment layer. Add your curves to that. And we want to add a slight thing. A slight color change. There we are. Now we're getting this. And for the body, we can also do the same thing for the body. So this guy stands out. Layer, new adjustment layer. And we want to add another curves to that. We could maybe change the color. So go to red, and we can perhaps remove some of the red. Doesn't look good actually. Let's just go to RGB and maybe brighten up the shirt so we can tell the difference. And now we're getting that on the other thing as well. So just go ahead and connect this adjustment layer to the body so it moves with the body. And we're going to get the pen tool while selecting that adjustment layer and just get the arm out completely. Go to the mask and turn that to subtract. So now it's only on the body and not the backhand. And now we can differentiate the limbs from one another. You could do this the easiest way, which is to go to the Adobe Illustrator file and you can just change the color there. Okay, now let's move on to the background. Background by Freepik. We have a snowy background. We have a lot of snowflakes that we're just going to animate. So it looks as if this person's running in the cold. Again, the quality is bad because it's set to third. The real quality will be there when we put this to full. So we have a lot of layers. And we have, I think the bottom layer is the background. And you can see we get all these snowflakes. So we have these snowflakes that we're just gonna make them appear. Let's unsolo those layers and select all of them. Go in the beginning of your timeline, hit P. And first we just want to make a keyframe. First let's move them out of the frame completely. Turn on the keyframe, turn on the stopwatch. Come in maybe 1 second. We want it to come down slowly, so 3 seconds. And then let's go ahead and just randomly select, and maybe 3 at a time. Randomly select and move them across the screen. Okay, so I did that. You could totally skip this step. This is optional. And now we have a bunch of snowflakes just appearing out of nowhere and expanding at the same time. So now we just need to offset them. Select all of the keyframes. Let's first easy ease them. You can see there's a lot. Hit F9. So once we did this, now we just want to offset the movement. So deselect some of them. And let me bring in expand my timeline. Okay, that's a lot better. Just randomly offset them so they don't appear at the same time. Okay, so I randomized everything. Let's bring this down, and now the stuff are going to appear in a random times. And we wanted about 4 seconds of this, so we're good. Let's just turn on the background layer. There it is. And before that, let's select all the snow layers and pre-compose everything. Call this snow. So much better. We're just getting all of these. We can turn on our background layer and we're just going to get these on separately. Now that we turn this into a pre-comp, you can see there's these black backgrounds on each of these snowflakes, and that's not looking good. So hit toggle switches and modes until you see the mode. Go on the snow, instead of normal, change it to screen. And now we're just going to get the snow and not those black things. And let's go ahead and just go in, I think around 4 seconds. I'm going to hit N here. Let's have a look at the real speed. So I think it's a little fast. We can just right click, time stretch it by 50. You could go back into composition and change the keyframes. That's just going to take a long time, so I'm just going to stretch it here. Okay, so the background's ready. Let's just bring in our character. Put it below the snow layer. Hit S and just make him really small. Hit P and bring him on top of our floor. I think he's still a little too big. All right, let's, on top of layer, let's make a new adjustment layer. Let's call this background. On top of the background layer, which is the mountains and all, I'm gonna hit, we're gonna make an adjustment layer on top, call this blur. Go to effects and presets, search for blur. Let's get something simple, Gaussian blur. And I want to add well, like 30. That's too much. Let's try 10. 8. Okay, I'm going to add 8, and then we are going to select that blur layer, get the rectangle tool, and just select the floor. Because that's the closest area to us. Go to mask 1. Instead of add, it's subtract. So everything is blurred except for the floor. Make sure you feather out the edges so it looks more natural. And I think 8 is a bit too much. Let's go for 5. Let's go for 6, 7. All right. Now we have a running character in a really snowy place. Let's hit M on these. For the character, I do want him to like move. You could either move the background or move the character. I think we could move the background. It looks better. So go to background. We're going to make a composition for this. Call this background. For the background, we'll just move it from one side to the other side. It's not that thing. Moving the character would be easier, so just hit P. Use the X and Y values to first assign his original position. I'm gonna make him disappear. Hit position, and in around 3 seconds, I just want him to make his way in here, and it's going to run out of frame like that. Let's go for here. Select the keyframes, hit F9, and I'm going to go to the speed graph. I want to make him run quicker in the beginning and then slow down as he's reaching the end. Play that. It's a little fast. Give it that. Just extend this out of your composition, 7 seconds. So he's going to run in like that. It's going to slow down halfway. And yeah, so there's our running character. I think he's a little too slow. Let's go for 5.5 seconds. Then let this render, then we can see the speed. Okay. So we can make him move the layer out because there's like a pause before he appears. And we can cut that pause by just moving the layer this way and out of the composition. Okay, so he's fast in the beginning, comes in, and then he slows down. You could fix this as an alter it. Select both keyframes. Go in here and let's kind of work with the curve. I think it's a little too dramatic. Okay, that's better. It's less intense. You can alter with this. Maybe move the background from left to right, anything you want. Now go to Effects and Presets, and we're going to look for curves. Let's make a new composition, a new adjustment layer. Just to give it that snowy, cold scene. Go in here, instead of RGB, go to blue, and we're just going to add some blue to this. And we're going to have, I think we only need to do that to the character because the rest of the composition is blue. Delete the adjustment layer and add that directly on character by free pick. Go to blue and just add some blue to this guy. You can see he's turning blue. This is more suitable for the thing. Go to the RGB and just add some lights, make it look like he's in a really cold area. You can also add a color balance HSL to the character as well. Come down here. Let's remove some of that brightness, -11, also some of that saturation. And bring this line back. So for curves, we're only working with the blue. Let's bring some of the lightness back. So now we have our character running in the cold with the snow falling, and we just have a dramatic scene. We have a dramatic scene of this character running and then slowing down. Let's also blur out the snow. For Gaussian blur, add that on top of the snow composition. Add a slight amount. Let's go for 10. Because the main focus is the character. 10 is too much. 4. Okay, that's better. So I added 4 points for blurriness. And there's our character. Okay, so we're done with our character running in a really dramatic way. to wherever he needs to go. So that's how you make your character run using Duik-Bucel. Obviously, practice makes perfect. You could try different leg designs. You could use different references for running. You could try different animals. You can basically apply this Duik-Bucel leg movement to anything you want, so the possibilities are just endless. So this is it for this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.